Welcome to a journey through the invisible. Every single day, from the moment we wake up until we close our eyes at night, we are surrounded by a silent, invisible symphony of data. We tap our screens and videos play instantly. We work from cafes, attend classes online, and video call loved ones across the globe without a single cable connecting us to the world. It feels like magic. But have you ever stopped to look at the empty space around you? It isn't actually empty. It is filled with waves, pulses, and information traveling at the speed of light. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the most important inventions of the modern age. We are going to understand, in the simplest way possible, how Wi-Fi actually works. To understand Wi-Fi, we first have to understand the nature of a wave. Think of a perfectly still lake on a quiet morning. The water is like a mirror. If you drop a small pebble into the center, you see ripples moving outward in perfect circles. Those ripples are energy moving through the water. They carry the force of the pebble's impact across the surface. Wi-Fi does the exact same thing, but instead of water, it uses the air, and instead of a pebble, it uses pulses of electricity. These pulses create electromagnetic waves that radiate from your router, filling your home with an invisible net of connectivity. These waves are part of something scientists call the electromagnetic spectrum. You are already familiar with many parts of this spectrum, even if you don't know it. The light you see with your eyes, the X-rays used by doctors to look at bones, and the radio waves that bring music to your car are all part of the same family. The only thing that makes them different is their frequency. Frequency is simply a measure of how many times a wave wiggles up and down in 1 second. This measurement is called hertz. When you look at your router and see labels like 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz, that is the speed of the wiggle. 1 gigahertz means 1 billion wiggles per second. Your Wi-Fi is literally vibrating billions of times every single second to carry your data. But how does a simple wiggle in the air carry a complex high-definition movie or a bank transaction? This is where we enter the world of binary code. Computers, phones, and routers don't speak English or any other human language. They speak in zeros and ones. To send these digits through the air, the router slightly changes the shape of the wave. Think of it as a very high-speed version of a flashlight. If the wave is slightly taller, it might represent a 1. If it is slightly shorter, it might represent a 0. Or the router might shift the timing of the wave. Your phone has a tiny, incredibly sensitive antenna that can feel these microscopic changes in the air and translate them back into the photos, videos, and text that you see on your screen. Now, let's look at the hardware. The router is the heart of your home network, and it has a very difficult job. It acts as a bilingual translator. On one side, it is plugged into a physical cable that comes from the street. This cable is usually made of glass fibers or copper, and it brings pulses of light or electricity from the global internet. The router reads these pulses and immediately converts them into radio waves we just discussed. It is a bridge between the physical world of cables and the invisible world of the air. It takes the entire internet and broadcasts it into your living room. However, Wi-Fi is not just a one-way broadcast like a radio station. It is a constant, frantic, two-way conversation. Every time you click a button on a website, your phone has to talk back to the router. Your phone's battery provides a tiny burst of power to its own internal antenna, creating its own radio waves that travel through the air to the router. The router hears your phone, translates that radio wave back into an electrical pulse, and sends it out to the global internet to fetch the information you asked for. This happens thousands of times every minute, a silent dialogue happening at incredible speeds. In a modern home, the router's job becomes even more complicated because it isn't just talking to one device. It's talking to your phone, your laptop, your smart TV, your gaming console, and perhaps even your smart fridge or light bulbs. If all these devices tried to shout at the same time, the air would be filled with digital noise and nothing would be understood. To solve this, the router acts like an invisible conductor in an orchestra or a traffic cop at a busy intersection. It organizes who talks and when. It uses a set of rules called protocols to give each device a tiny window of time to speak. These windows of time are measured in millionths of a second. It happens so quickly that it feels like all your devices are connected at once, but in reality, they are taking turns at an incredible speed the human brain cannot comprehend. As technology has evolved, we have moved from older versions of these rules to newer ones, like Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 7. These new rules allow the router to talk to multiple devices simultaneously using a technology called MU-MIMO, which stands for Multiple User Multiple Input Multiple Output. It's like a cashier who can suddenly serve 4 customers at once instead of just one. But even with all this brilliance, we all know that Wi-Fi isn't perfect. We've all experienced the frustration of a signal dropping just when we need it. To understand why, we have to look at the enemies of the signal. The first enemy is physical matter. While radio waves can pass through many materials, they lose energy every time they do. Concrete walls, bricks, and heavy timber are like thick curtains for Wi-Fi. By the time a wave passes through 2 or 3 walls, it becomes a faint whisper that your phone can no longer distinguish from the background noise. The second, more surprising enemy is water. Wi-Fi waves, specifically those on the 2.4 GHz frequency, are very good at vibrating water molecules. In fact, this is exactly how a microwave oven works. It uses those waves to make the water in your food vibrate and get hot. Because of this, anything that contains water will absorb your Wi-Fi signal. This includes large fish tanks, water pipes in your walls, and even the human body. If you are standing directly between your router and a device, you are actually absorbing a tiny bit of that internet signal yourself. This is why placing your router in an open and central and elevated position is the best way to ensure the signal reaches every corner of your home. Mirrors and metal objects also present a major challenge. Mirrors have a thin layer of metal backing that acts like a shield. Instead of letting the wave pass through to the next room, the mirror reflects it back into the room that it came from. This creates echoes and interference. Metal filing cabinets, refrigerators, and even metal studs inside walls can block the signal entirely. It is like trying to shine a flashlight through a piece of aluminum foil. The light simply cannot get to the other side. Then there is the issue of congestion. In a crowded apartment building, your Wi-Fi isn't just competing with your own devices, it's competing with dozens of other routers from your neighbors. If everyone is using the same lane on the 2.4 GHz highway, the traffic slows down for everyone. This is why modern routers use the 5 GHz or 6 GHz bands. These are like having a much wider, multi-lane superhighway with much less traffic. The waves don't travel as far, but they can carry much more data and stay away from the noise of older devices and appliances like microwaves. You might also wonder about your privacy. Since the Wi-Fi signal is literally flying through the air for anyone to hear, how do your passwords and bank details stay safe? This is where encryption comes into play. Before a packet of data is sent into the air, the router locks it with a complex mathematical code called WPA3. Even if your neighbor's computer intercepts the radio wave, the data inside will look like total gibberish. Only your specific device, which has the digital key or your Wi-Fi password, can unlock that wave and read the information. It's like sending a secret letter in a box that only you and your friend have the key to. As we look towards the future, Wi-Fi is becoming even smarter. We are seeing the rise of mesh systems, where instead of one single router trying to scream loud enough to reach the whole house, you have several small nodes that work together to create a blanket of signal. We are also seeing beamforming, where the router doesn't just spray the signal in every direction like a light bulb. Instead, it uses its multiple antennas to focus a concentrated beam of data directly towards your moving phone, ensuring the strongest possible connection wherever you are sitting. In the end, Wi-Fi is a testament to human curiosity and engineering. It is a beautiful dance of physics and logic that happens every second of every day. It is the invisible thread that connects us to the sum total of human knowledge, to our jobs, and to each other. It isn't magic, but when you consider that billions of waves are passing through the walls, through the air, and even through us right now, carrying the world's information perfectly, it certainly feels like it. So, the next time you see that little icon with the 3 curved lines on your screen, take a moment to appreciate the invisible conductor, the high-speed packets, and the silent ripples in the air. You are part of a global conversation that never sleeps, powered by the